Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to this Caitanya Pravaha course. And we have completed Madhya Lila in our previous class. And from today we will begin Antya Lila. We are in the end of Sri Caitanya-caritamrita. And Antya Lila of Caitanya-caritamrita has 20 chapters. In this first some 12, 13, up to 14 chapters describe various pastimes of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu with various devotees. And these beautiful pastimes give us several insights and lessons on Vaishnava culture, relationships, emotional exchanges between Vaishnavas, and a lot of etiquette, lessons on Vaishnava etiquettes. All this we can see in these chapters. And in the last 6-7 chapters, majority of the content is describing Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstasy and his feelings of separation in the mode of Srimati Radharani, which are like very, very high topics. Mahaprabhu goes into meditation and then he would just see Radha Krishna lilas there, and then he will come back to this external world. Like that very esoteric pastimes are described in the last some 6-7 chapters predominantly. But the first almost 12 chapters describe very sweet exchanges of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu with his devotees, and some episodes in this Antya Lila teaches very, very grave lessons on what not to do in Bhakti Yoga, what not to do in our devotional service, the gravity of offenses and some kind of impersonalistic tendencies or offenses that we might commit in the association of devotees. They're very grave lessons. Madhya Lila is definitely rich in its contents in terms of philosophical presentation, and even Adi Lila also. Adi Lila first 7 chapters are filled with a lot of philosophical content. You understand Mahaprabhu's Chaitanya Tattva, Nityananda Tattva, Advaita Tattva, Pancha Tattva, a lot of Tattva we have seen in the Adi Lila first 3 chapters. Then in Madhya Lila, through the discussions between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, then Mahaprabhu's discussions with Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, then Prakashananda Saraswati, several chapters in Madhya Lila also present a lot of philosophy. The philosophy of bhakti, and also defeating Mayavad and Tattva of Krishna, all that we have seen. And of course some Rasik, very esoteric descriptions of Radha Krishna Tattva also we have seen in the conversation between Ramananda and Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Thus Madhya Lila is also quite rich in its contents in terms of philosophy. While Adi Lila and Madhya Lila present pastimes along with a lot of philosophy, Antya Lila is very special and unique that it presents very finer nuances of Vaishnava culture, Vaishnava etiquette, emotions. Very brilliantly Antya Lila describes all these emotions, not much philosophy. So Antya Lila, 2 major topics are Vaishnava etiquette or culture, secondly Mahaprabhu's ecstasy. This ecstasy is like too much for an average sadhaka to digest, but this Vaishnava culture and dealings, friendships, respect, and humility, gratitude, satisfaction, all the Vaishnava qualities are very wonderfully demonstrated by Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees in this Antya Lila, and what not to do, what kind of offenses we should avoid in the association of devotees, how to associate with devotees. So there's enough subject matter on this theme in Caitanya-caritamrita and especially in Antya Lila. Very important section. And we have 20 chapters in Antya Lila. In last 7-8 chapters, I'll go fast because it's like very, very high topics. It's beyond my capacity also to think of them so much. But I'll give a quick overview of all of them. We have, I think, 4 more sessions remaining. 4 into 1.5, we have about 6 hours. In these 6 hours, I think I'll spend 5 hours in this initial 12, 13 chapters where a lot of Vaishnava culture is described. And in the last 1 hour, I will summarize the last 2 chapters where ecstasy is presented. So this is how we are going to go ahead in the rest of the course. So thank you so much for being in the course till the end of Madhya Lila and in the beginning of Antya Lila. Thank you very much for your enthusiastic participation. So now I will begin the Antya Lila. Antya Lila, first chapter of Antya Lila describes Rupa Goswami's second meeting with Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So already Rupa Goswami met Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu in Ramakeli and also in Prayaga. Now another meeting is happening here. So Kaviraj Goswami begins this chapter with these 2 shlokas. One more thing about Antya Lila is that in Madhya Lila, you see a continuity in pastimes. So Mahaprabhu accepted sannyas, and then what all are the events that happened after this sannyas, and there's a continuity. All 25 chapters are like one thread, mostly, major. But in Antya Lila, you will find each chapter is one episode. Right? Madhya Lila, 25 chapters are describing, just 23 chapters are describing only 6 years of Mahaprabhu's pastimes. But Antya Lila, 20 chapters are describing last 18 years of Mahaprabhu's pastimes. So these are not like in one continuous thread. So it's like one chapter about one incident or one episode centered on one devotee. Right now, first chapter has all the description about Rupa Goswami, all interactions between Rupa Goswami and Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Where Rupa Goswami is the hero. I mean, he's the main character in the first chapter. Second chapter, Chota Haridas. Third chapter, Haridas Thakur. Then 4th chapter, Sanatana Goswami. 5th chapter, Pradyumna Mishra and Ramanandra. Then 6th chapter, Radhanath Das Goswami. 7th chapter, Vallabh Bhatta. 8th chapter, Ramachandrapuri. 9th chapter, Gopinath Patnaik. So like that, each chapter is focusing on Mahaprabhu's interactions with one devotee or 2 devotees, like that. So they're like discrete episodes more than a continuous storyline. Okay. So now first chapter is about Rupa Goswami. Pangam langhayate shailam mukam avartayat shrutim yat kripatamaham vande Krishna Caitanya Ishwaram. So Pangam langhayate shailam. Pangu means a lame man. He can cross over Shaila. Shaila means a mountain. Mukam avartayat shrutim. Mukam means a dumb man. He can recite Shrutis, scriptures. Then yat kripa tamaham vande Krishna Caitanya Ishwaram. By the mercy of Krishna Caitanya Mahaprabhu, even a lame man also can cross over the mountains. Even a dumb man also can recite the scriptures. Another very, very important shloka that is describing about the glory of the devotee's mercy. Durgame pathivendasya skhalat padagatir muhu svakripa yashti danena santaha santavalambanam. So Durgame pathivendasya. This is another very important shloka. So here Kaviraj Goswami says that Durgame pathivendasya, my path is very difficult. The path of traversing the spiritual life is very difficult. I am blind. Durgame pathi means the path itself is very difficult. Andhasya, I am very blind. And skhalat padagatir muhu, my feet are also slipping. I am unable to walk properly. But svakripa yashtidanena santu santavalambanam. But the saints help me by granting me the stick of their mercy as support. For example, if a blind man has to cross a road or just walk on the path, he doesn't know where he's placing his next step because he is unsure. He is unable to see. So path is difficult. Eyes are blind and his feet are slipping every now and then. But if there is stick, a blind man will be able to cross. That stick is the mercy of devotees. So that's the greatness of devotees who support even blind people. So now, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu completed his Vrindavan Yatra and came back to Jagannath Puri. So in Puri, when Mahaprabhu came to Puri, then Swarupa Damodar Goswami had sent a message to all the Bengal devotees. If Mahaprabhu is back from Vrindavan Yatra, then all the devotees from Bengal, they came to Jagannath Puri to meet Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So Lord Caitanya, he was also very eager to see them because for a long time he has not seen. So then, as usual, Shivananda Sen has arranged for the travel of all these devotees, and these devotees just traveled along with Shivananda Sen, offering them accommodations, prasadam, all the travel arrangements he has taken care of. Then all the Bengal devotees are traveling from Bengal to Jagannath Puri. So while Shivananda Sen was making all these arrangements, he saw one dog. The dog also wanted to come to Jagannath Puri. So Shivananda Sen allowed this dog also to come. So they were just boarding a boat to cross a river. The boatman said, "Oh, why you are getting dog? Okay, I will pay for the dog also and let him come." So dog also has come with Shivananda Sen, and dog was accompanying Shivananda Sen during his travel. But one day, Shivananda Sen got a little packed with some toll collector, so he could not give food to the dog. So he just finished all the conversation with the toll tax collector, and then he came back, and in the night he was taking prasad, and he asked his devotees, "What happened to this dog? Did you feed the dog?" But the devotees have forgotten that a dog is accompanying them, and Shivanand is very carefully taking care of the dog also. But Shivanand became very upset. "Oh, you have not fed the dog?" Then he became so upset that he did not even take prasad properly, and the next day morning they were just trying to search for the dog. The dog is not found anywhere. So with some sad faces, all these devotees reached Jagannath Puri. They finally met Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. But to their astonishment, they found the same dog next to Lord Caitanya. Lord Caitanya was just throwing some coconut pieces, coconut pulp to the dog, and the dog is just catching and eating that coconut pulp. You see this picture. Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu is offering that coconut pulp to this dog, and the next day dog attained mercy of the Lord, and the dog went back to the spiritual world in a spiritual body. So by Mahaprabhu's mercy, the dog went to the spiritual world, and Shivananda Sen and all the devotees were so astonished for this special mercy. So why did the Lord show so much of mercy to the dog? Because Shivananda Sen has shown that mercy. So point is that Prabhupada gives a lesson that even to become a dog of a Vaishnava also is very beneficial. Okay, even if we happen to get mercy of the Lord in the form of a dog also, we certainly get to advance in devotional service, and will become recipient of Krishna's mercy, because Krishna's mercy follows devotees' mercy. Okay, and this way Mahaprabhu is doing all his wonderful pastimes, and now at this stage, Kaviraj Goswami describes the meeting that happened between Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami. So Rupa Goswami went to Vrindavan, and Rupa Goswami wanted to come to Puri, because earlier Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu told Rupa Goswami, "You can come to Pirvans. We'll spend some time there, because that's my headquarters. During my travels, I'm meeting you. but you should come there once. So Rupa Goswami came along with Anupam. So he was journeying to Puri, and also Rupa Goswami started making some notes because he wanted to write a book. One of the instructions given by Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu to Rupa Goswami is to write books. So he started writing book. He has made some notes. Okay, he has made some plan. Sometimes authors, they make some plan to present the book in a certain way, but somehow through some devotees or somehow they get some inputs and they may change the style of presentation. Okay, slightly. Content is same, Krishna Katha, but they may slightly change because of the requirements of audiences and expectations of the devotees and instructions of the Lord. So they would tweak. So Rupa Goswami began to make some notes to write Krishna's pastimes. He began to write a drama. So as he was journeying to Puri, on the way, when they came to Bengal from Vrindavan, Anupam died. Anupam is the brother of Rupa Goswami. So that's why he got a little delayed. So he could not accompany the Bengal devotees. So Rupa Goswami's plan was, okay, let me go from Vrindavan to Bengal, and from Bengal, I will accompany Shivananda Sen, Advaita Acharya, and all these devotees and go to Jagannath Puri along with them. But he missed because of Anupam's sudden departure. So Rupa Goswami was delayed, so he started traveling on his own. So on the way, he came to a place called Satyabhamapur. So there, Satyabhama, the queen of Krishna, she came in the dream of Rupa Goswami and told, you should write a separate drama about me. So now Rupa Goswami was wondering, I wanted to write a nice drama on Krishna lila, but Satyabhama says, write separate drama about me. About me means Satyabhama's leelas are in Dwaraka. So she is the queen of Krishna in Dwaraka, and she is not so much in Vrindavan. So means I have to separate Vrindavan pastimes and Dwaraka pastimes. Is that what she is indicating? So he felt like that. So nevertheless, he just traveled to Jagannath Puri, and when he came to Jagannath Puri, he came to Haridas Thakur's hut, and he started staying with Haridas Thakur. Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu visited Haridas Thakur's hut, and then he used to spend a lot of time with Haridas Thakur and Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami stayed for almost a year, around 10 months, more than that. So then Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu also told that, my dear Rupa Goswami, you should write separate drama about Krishna in Vrindavan and in Mathura, in Dwaraka. So you should not mix both of them. Actually, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu did not say this very directly. He only said that there are two Krishnas. Okay. He says, Yadukumara Krishna is Vasudeva Krishna. He manifests his pastimes in Mathura and Dwaraka. But Krishna is the son of Nanda Maharaj, and he would never leave Vrindavan. So there are two Krishnas, Vrindavan Krishna and Yadukumara Krishna. Nandanandana Krishna and Yadukumara Krishna. So he just said this much. Then Rupa Goswami understood. Mahaprabhu is expecting me to separate dramas. Satyabhama already told. Mahaprabhu also said, the Lord and his consort are saying. So Rupa Goswami said that, okay, fine, let me just consider writing two dramas. So he started writing two dramas. They are Vidagdha Madhava with pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan, and Lalita Madhava with pastimes of Krishna in Dwaraka and Mathura. Fine. So now, this is little elaborate description here. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu asked several devotees to bestow their mercy upon Haridas Thakur. Rupa Goswami. So Haridas Thakur bestowed his mercy on Rupa Goswami, Advaita Acharya, Nityananda Prabhu, Sarvadamodar Goswami. All of them became very happy to see Rupa Goswami, and within no time Rupa Goswami became very dear to all these devotees. So now Rupa Goswami saw Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu doing this Gundicha Marjan. He participated with Lord Caitanya in Gundicha Marjan, and he also has seen Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu participating in Rath Yatra festival. So Rupa Goswami was astonished, and he was so enlivened with the association of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And during the Rath Yatra, Mahaprabhu is just chanting his usual shloka. in the mood of Srimati Radharani, in separation from Krishna. Yah kaumara harasya eva hivarasta eva chaitrakshapaha techonmilita malati surabhayaha praudha kadambanilaha साचैवांसि तथापि तत्र सुरता व्यापार लीला विधौ रेवा रोदसी वेतसी तरुतले चेतः समुत्कण्ठते. So this shloka we discussed before also in the Madhya Lila, that Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Radharani, he is feeling that I am the same Radharani, you are the same Krishna, but this is not same Vrindavan, and we are not on the bank of Yamuna. So I am missing Vrindavan ambience. I am. You should come there. So that's the message. That's the pastime of Rath Yatra. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu was pulling the Rath of Jagannath, indicating that Jagannath is coming from Dwaraka or Kurukshetra to Vrindavan. So Gundicha is representing Vrindavan. So he was chanting this shloka, and nobody could understand what Mahaprabhu is saying. But Rupa Goswami could understand this pastime, and he wrote another shloka explaining the purport of this shloka. And you know the whole pastime we discussed in Madhya Lila. So that's one thing. And another day, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu came to Haridas Thakur's side, and he saw Rupa Goswami. He was just writing his book, right? So he was writing this book, and then in that book he wrote one shloka. Mahaprabhu just picked up one leaf, palm leaf, and then he said, Rupa Goswami, your handwriting is like a row of pearls. It's so beautiful. And he read the shloka. Now, externally means the appeal, the visual appeal of the shloka of this manuscript is very beautiful. He wanted to understand the meaning of the shloka. He saw the shloka. Tunde tandavi niratim vitanute tundavali labdhaye कर्णक्रोड कदम्बिनी घटयते कर्णाद्भुतेः स्पृहन् चेत प्रांगण संगिनी विजयते सर्वेन्द्रियाणां कृतिम् नो जाने जनिता कियद्भिरमृतैः कृष्णेति वर्णद्वयी. So here he says tunde tandavini ratim vitanute, when the holy name of Krishna is doing tandav, dancing on my tongue. Tunde tandavini ritim vitanute. Tunda avali labdhaye. I desire millions of tons. When the holy name of Krishna is dancing on my tongue, I desire millions of tons. Then, when the holy name of Krishna is entering my ear holes, I desire millions of ears. And when the holy name of Krishna is dancing in front of the courtyard of my heart, all my other senses become inert. My heart is totally focused on the holy name. No jane janita kiyadbhiramritaihi krishneti varanadvayi. I don't understand what great nectar has been embedded within these two syllables, Krish and Na. No jane janita kiyadbhiramritaihi krishneti varanadvayi. Two syllables, Krish and Na. And seeing the meaning of the shloka, my God, Mahaprabhu has become so ecstatic. No one has described the sweetness of holy name like Rupa Goswami did in this shloka. So that's actually, to that extent, every single living being has the potential to relish Krishna's holy name to such an extent. But because of the covering of material modes and ignorance and false ego and material desires, we cannot access that. Sometimes when we're chanting, we just become sleepy and we get bored. We check phone. So we do so many things because of lack of taste for holy names. But everyone has this potential. We just have to access that potential by sincerely trying to chant, attempting to chant. So next, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu told Swarupa Damodar Goswami, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Ramananda Rai to come and meet our Rupa Goswami. Please come and see Rupa Goswami, how he is writing his books. You should examine, because Ramananda Rai is a great author. Swarupa Damodar Goswami, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, they are very exalted personalities. So, and Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu was trying to glorify Rupa Goswami in front of these devotees. And he was also slightly examining these devotees. Okay. If I glorify Rupa Goswami so much, what would be the mood of these devotees? How will they feel? So actually, they are very exalted, but Mahaprabhu is just putting slight test there, that will they feel envious? Will they feel jealous? What exactly is their response? Because when some other devotee is suffering or struggling, it's easy to show some compassion, sympathy, empathy, daya, karuna, because we are in a better situation than them. So although we are helping others or showing compassion on others, there is unsaid sense of superiority over the other person. One may not feel it, but it could be there. There's a possibility. But when someone is doing better than us, someone is doing more service than us, or someone's service is better than our service, right? He's getting more blessings of Guru, more blessings of Vaishnavas. He's getting more privileged opportunities to render services. And then when somebody is excelling us, what is our mood? Okay, are we feeling envious, jealous of them, or we are happy? We are celebrating their success. So one of the greatest obstacles in devotional path is envy towards other devotees. So we have already discussed in Bhagavatam classes that in Vaikuntha, even birds and plants also do not have envy towards other birds and other plants. They are always encouraging other Vaishnavas. So one should not have this envy, and that non-enviousness is a qualification to understand Gita and Bhagavatam. Why did Krishna speak Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna? Because Anasuya, Arjuna is not having any envy. And this shloka, Dharma projita kaitavotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavam patra vastu shivadam tapattaryon varnam. Nirmatsaranam satam vedyam. Bhagavatam is understandable by non-envious people. To the degree we are non-envious, to that degree we can understand the import of Bhagavatam. Otherwise, one may have a scholarly understanding of Bhagavatam. He will only remain with their scholarly perspectives. It doesn't sink into his heart. Right? One may have a grammatical understanding of Bhagavatam. One may have an intellectual understanding of Bhagavatam. One may see Bhagavatam from a historical perspective, research perspective. But we need to see from devotional perspective. By studying Bhagavatam, our service attitude towards Krishna and Vaishnava should be invoked. That happens when we don't have envy in our hearts. If there's envy, we cannot understand Gita, we cannot understand Bhagavatam, we cannot understand Caitanya-caritamrita. So now Mahaprabhu is testing these people. That whether do they have any envy? If I glorify Rupa Goswami so much, how will they feel? So they all came to Haridas Thakur's hut, and then this very long thing. There are some technical aspects also here about poetry. So Sarvadamodar Goswami, Ramanandari, they are examining Rupa Goswami's compositions. So Rupa Goswami was very hesitant. Mahaprabhu tells Rupa Goswami, recite your shloka. What is the shloka that you have written? Then he was hesitant. Then Sarvadamodar Goswami recited the shloka. Then again Mahaprabhu asked Rupa Goswami, don't feel shy, you should recite. Then somehow he managed to recite. And okay, well, recite the further shlokas. Recite the introductory shlokas of your book. So much of inspection has happened, right? So in Vidhyapeetha Madhav. So he recited the Nandi shloka. Nandi shloka is the introductory verse. Then Ishtadeva Varnan, worshipable deity. Basically, Rupa Goswami was glorifying this Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu only. He is his worshipable deity. Then Mahaprabhu, actually, initially, Mahaprabhu told, okay, just recite your Ishtadeva Varnan shloka. Then Rupa Goswami is feeling he just kept quiet. No, I will not recite. Okay, because if I say about Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, he may feel little uncomfortable. He was keeping quiet. Mahaprabhu said, no, recite, please recite. Then because of so much of pushing, he recited. And after reciting, Mahaprabhu felt uncomfortable. He said, no, this is wrong. This, you should change this shloka. Then other devotees said, no, this is perfectly written. You should keep this only as Nandi shloka. And Mahaprabhu said, okay. So in this way, Mahaprabhu is also becoming humble. He's trying to humble others and he's also getting humbled by his devotees. The devotees are approving. So next, Patra Sannidhan means the introduction of players in the drama, and Prarochana. So these are all various technical terms, terminologies used in the traditional drama writing. So modern day, 5,000 years down, 500 years down the line, so many things have happened in the writing field, whether it is poetry writing or prose writing. So many things have happened, and some new vocabulary has to be presented, and some kind of structure is given to a piece of writing, an abstract, a conclusion, the body divided into sections. So like that, like traditionally, this Rupa Goswami and Kalidas, Jayadeva Goswami, they set the golden standard for writing. It's kind of poetic compositions and devotional literatures. But we have this golden shloka from Bhagavatam, where we see Tadvag Visargo Janatagha Viplavo Yasmin Pratishlokam Abadhavatyapi Namanyanantasya Yashonkitani Yat Shrinvanti Gayanti Grinanti Sadhavaha. So, when a piece of writing is describing the Supreme Lord in his pastimes, that's divine. Even if there are some grammatical errors there, and even if there are some inconsistencies, the comparisons are not very great, or analogies and examples may not be so exciting, but still, if it is glorifying Krishna, that's the best literature. Even great souls also take pleasure in them. But a perfectly composed literature or a poem without Krishna's glorification there is like a pilgrimage place for crows, right? So it's not. It's more about the content rather than the style of writing and all. Okay. But Rupa Goswami is exceptional in both. His presentation style is the choice of words and the content. Both are rich. Both are great. Right? So that's about inspection or like examining Vidhyapeetha Madhav work of Rupa Goswami. And next, Ramananda Rai also inspects the work of Lalita Madhav. Okay. So these are all various things. I may not be describing all this because they are very esoteric. Some of them are very esoteric, and some of them are little elaborate and deep, and some are like technical aspects of writing such literatures. Right? So now Ramananda Rai examines Rupa Goswami's Vidhyapeetha Madhav book, and then he examines Lalita Madhav book. There are very nice shlokas quoted from Vidhyapeetha Madhav and Lalita Madhav also in this chapter. So, okay, I'll recite one shloka from Vidhyapeetha Madhav, third section. Hitva dure pathi dhavataror antikam dharma setor bhangodagra guru sikharinam brahmasalandhayanti लेभे कृष्णार्णवनवरसा राधिका वाहिनी वाग्वीचीभिः किमिव विमुखी भावमस्यास्तनोषि हित्वा दूरे पथि धवतरोर अंतिकम धर्मसेतु. Leaving far behind her husband and breaking all the dharma setu means the bridges of social conventions and dharmas. Bhangodagra guru sikharinam Ramhasa Landhayanti. Srimati Radharani left behind her husband, broke all social customs and Vedic regulations, and forcibly crossed the mountains or hills of elder relatives. Right? Bhangodagra Guru Sikharina. Guru Sikharina means this big mountain peak, and Guru means elders. She crossed all that. Lebhe Krishnarnavanavasa Radhika Vahini. Here Srimati Radharani is compared to Vahini, a river, and Krishna is compared to great ocean. So just like a river crosses hills and leaves behind her source, trees and all that, she comes to ocean. Similarly, Radharani also crossed over so many such obstacles and reached the ocean of Krishna, influenced by fresh feelings of love. Right? So this is how Radharani comes to Krishna. Like that, several esoteric verses are there in Lalita Madhav and Vidhyapeetha Madhav. So after examining this two literatures written by Rupa Goswami, Ramananda Rai becomes so happy. So no one can write such literature with such precision, with such expertise, with such vocabulary, with such rich contents. So Ramananda Rai said, "My dear Lord, you must have empowered Rupa Goswami. Without your mercy, how can he compose such a literature? So you have completely equipped with him with understanding of rasa. Bhakta kripa hetu prakashite chaha brajarasa yare kaho yare karo sei karibe jagat tomara vasha." So jagat tomara vasha, entire universe is under your control, my dear Lord. So now you manifest bhakti rasa through your devotees. So see, now Rupa Goswami said, very humbly said, I'm being appreciated so much by all the devotees, but I'm not qualified. It's all Mahaprabhu's mercy. So further, you see, if you see, the devotees say that Kavita na hayayai amritera dhara nataka lakshana sabha siddhantera sar. So this one shloka summarizes the excellence of Rupa Goswami's poetry. Kavita na hayayai amritera dhara. It's not a kavita, it's not poetry. It is amritera dhara. It's a stream of nectar. Nataka lakshana sabha means all the technical aspects of a drama are present in it, plus siddhantera sara, and it is also presenting the conclusion of philosophy. So siddhanta, sara, and nataka lakshana. So nataka lakshana means the external appeal or the presentation style, and siddhantera sara means the content, the essence of philosophy. So in both ways, Rupa Goswami's compositions are very rich. So this is Ramananda Rai's testimony to Rupa Goswami's wonderful poetry. So Rupa Goswami also felt quite humbled. So now Rupa Goswami glorifies, Rupa Goswami acknowledges Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. He says, "Sei Rupa kahena hami kichui na jani, yei Mahaprabhu kahana sei kahi vani." Hami kichui na jani, I don't know anything. Whatever Mahaprabhu is inspiring me, I'm just writing. He is dictating and I'm writing. This is how a Vaishnava author feels. Vaishnava author feels that Hridayasya preranaya pravartitoham varaka rupo. So Hridayasya preranaya, the prerana to write a literature comes from Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Right? So varaka rupo, although I'm so unqualified, I'm so fallen, still my the inspiration to write and the ability to write is coming from Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Tasya harehi padakamalam vande Caitanya devasya. I offer my respectful obeisances unto this Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Right? So now he stayed there for some days and then he left. So now you see, Rupa Goswami and Haridas Thakur were staying in that hut. And when Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu came with his exalted associates like Swarupa Damodara Goswami, Ramananda Rai, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and many others, Haridas Thakur felt so embarrassed. We know all of them as associates of Lord Caitanya, but Haridas Thakur is apparently from a low background, apparently, externally, and Rupa Goswami is like a visitor to Jagannath Puri. He was not a resident. But Mahaprabhu made Jagannath Puri his headquarters, and these are all residents of Jagannath Puri. They are more intimate and they are more close. They have more close interactions with Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So seeing that Mahaprabhu has come with his dear associates, intimate associates, Rupa and Haridas, they sat down. They did not even agree to sit on a same platform, on a chair or whatever was there at that time. They were not sitting on a raised platform. They sat down. They did not even get up. So they were sitting down at the lotus feet of all these Vaishnavas and then humbly presenting. He is the author speaking his poetry, but he is a Vaishnava being humble, so humble that he sat down just deciding, okay, this is what I wrote. Is it okay? Fine. So in that mood he was writing. He had absolutely no pride. So this is the mood of a humble Vaishnava, even if he happens to be a great author, as Rupa Goswami. Now, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu gave his final instructions to Rupa Goswami. He said, go to Vrindavan and stay there. You may send here your elder brother Sanatan. In the 4th chapter, we will see Sanatan Goswami's visit to Jagannath Puri. And stay there and preach transcendental literature, excavate all the lost holy places, establish the service of Krishna, preach the mellows of Krishna's bhakti. So in this way, Rupa Goswami stayed there for some time up to Dolayatra festival, and then he went back to Vrindavan. That completes the 1st chapter. 2nd chapter, the chastisement of junior Haridas. So in this chapter, there is a small description of Mahaprabhu's pastimes, because Mahaprabhu manifests in 3 ways. He tries to show mercy to his devotees in 3 ways. One, Sakshat, direct presence. Second is this Avirbhava, appearing before them. Okay. Third is Avesha, empowering a devotee. So in 3 ways, Mahaprabhu shows his mercy upon his devotees. Kaviraj Goswami gives a short description of these 3 kinds of appearances of the Lord. Now, for example, when Bengal devotees came from various parts of India to Jagannath Puri, then Mahaprabhu would give his Sakshat Darshan to all of them. Means he would directly stand in front of them and give darshan. That is Sakshat Darshan. Then Avesha means he empowers a devotee. So one example is Nakul Brahmachari. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu entered his heart and he became exactly like a man haunted by a ghost. So he continuously exhibited all the transformations, bodily transformations of love, like a madman. He was crying, he was trembling, he was getting stand. These are all Mahaprabhu's ecstasies. So now Shivananda Sen came to test the authenticity of this Nakul Brahmachari and stayed there. If Nakul Brahmachari personally calls me and knows my worshipable mantra, then I shall understand that he is inspired by Lord Caitanya. So Nakul Brahmachari called for Shivananda Sen. When so many crowds gathered in front of Nakul Brahmachari's place. So he called for Shivananda Sen. Nakul Brahmachari said, I know that you are doubtful. Hear this evidence attentively. We are chanting Gaur Gopal mantra, composed of 4 syllables. So you are Shivananda Sen chanting this mantra. Then Shivananda Sen understood. Only Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu can say like this. Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu has entered Nakul Brahmachari. So this is called Avesha. So this is Avesha way of giving mercy to someone. Okay. Then Avirbhava means appearing before someone. Mahaprabhu may stay at some place, but he appears before his devotees. So that is Avirbhava. So we have seen Sakshat and Avesha. We will see Avirbhava now. So now this we have seen. He is personally present there. That is Sakshat. Then we have also seen this Avesha. Avesha is where Mahaprabhu is dancing by personally entering the body of Nakul Brahmachari. Now, Avirbhava is having 4 examples. Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu manifests in Sachira Mandire, means he manifests in Sachi Mata's house. Then he manifests in Nityananda Prabhu. Whenever Nityananda Prabhu does Kirtan, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu manifests there. And whenever Srivas Thakur is doing Kirtan, Srivas Angan, Mahaprabhu manifests there. Then whenever Raghava Pandit wants to feed something to Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu manifests there. These are 4 examples of Avirbhava. So total, in 3 ways, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu manifests himself. Avesha, Avirbhava, and Sakshat Darshan. So in Bhagavan Acharya, this is one more thing. I'll just skip this. Okay, anyways, let me narrate this also. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu has one devotee called Bhagavan Acharya. So Bhagavan Acharya is a very simple-hearted devotee, very innocent devotee. So he becomes excited with small things also. So once Gopal Bhattacharya, who is a younger brother of Bhagavan Acharya, came to Jagannath Puri. he came from Varanasi. At Varanasi, he studied some literature, but that's little Mayavad philosophy. So then Bhagavan Acharya introduced Gopal Bhattacharya to Sarvabhauma Damodar Goswami and requested Sarvabhauma Damodar Goswami to hear this commentary on Vedanta Sutra by this Gopal Bhattacharya. Sarvabhauma Damodar Goswami said, we lost intelligence in Gopal's association. So you should not be hearing this Saririka Bhashya of Vedanta Sutra. That's Mayavad. And this Gopal Bhattacharya studied all that. Don't hear all that. So then Bhagavan Acharya said, no. We are all fixed at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna with our hearts and souls. Therefore, Saririka Bhashya, even if we hear it also, it cannot change our minds. That's what Sarvabhauma Goswami said. Nevertheless, Mayavad philosophy, we should not hear only. We may not be influenced by that philosophy, but there's no point hearing one, right? Even if to encourage this Gopal Bhattacharya. So Bhagavan Acharya became a little ashamed, and then he asked Gopal Bhattacharya, you better go back from here. So you are too much into Mayavad. You cannot sit here. Okay. So that's like one incident that happened. Now the main content of this chapter is this Haridas Thakur's episode. Sorry, Chota Haridas episode. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu also accepted meals in the house of Bhagavan Acharya. So next, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu once chastised junior Haridas for one small mistake. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu once went to this Bhagavan's house, and Bhagavan Acharya invited Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu to eat in his house. So Bhagavan Acharya called Chota Haridas and told him, can you please go to this sister of Sikhi Mahiti and ask her for some rice, white rice? Then he went to Sikhi Mahiti's sister Malati Devi. She was a very elderly lady, austere and a great Vaishnavi. So he went and begged some rice and then brought it to Bhagavan Acharya. Bhagavan Acharya cooked the rice and fed Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, and Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy to eat this rice. Oh, this is very fine quality rice, very good, very happy. Then he asked, who begged this rice? Then Bhagavan Acharya innocently replied, Chota Haridas. Okay. Then Mahaprabhu had his meals. He came back to his place and he told his personal servant Govinda, from this day, do not allow Chota Haridas to come here. And Chota Haridas came to know this, and he felt so unhappy. He fasted for 3 days. And many devotees came to Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu and asked that what offense did Chota Haridas did? Then Mahaprabhu said, Prabhu kahe vairagi kare prakriti sambhashan dekhite na paron ami taharavadan. So I cannot see the face of a renunciant who still talks very intimately with women. Okay. So there is a slight difference between simplicity and duplicity. Of course, a man, a devotee, male, whether it's brahmachari or sannyasi or a grahastha, he may interact with women if there is an essential service, but unnecessarily speaking is not at all encouraged, right? Unnecessarily for no reason, just chit-chatting and all that, that's never encouraged. So for an essential service, definitely there can be some interaction, but it has to be very respectful. So here, you see, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu thoroughly condemned this attitude of Chota Haridas. He says that senses adhere to the sense object so strongly that even a wooden statue of a woman attracts the mind of even a greatly saintly person. So I cannot entertain him anymore. So he should not be here. Of course, like Madhavi Devi is a very elderly woman, and definitely he just went and begged some rice from her. But although within Caitanya-caritamrita it is not there, many devotees are very much surprised with this narration of this incident in Caitanya-caritamrita Antya lila. But Prabhupada clarifies that Mahaprabhu told this Chota Haridas not to come to his association, not because he begged rice from Malati Devi. He saw one young woman there and he looked at her in a very in little bad manner, right? In a lustful manner, he just looked at her. That's why Mahaprabhu said that, okay, just vanish. This is how Prabhupada explains. So, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not like this attitude in this renunciant. So, Mahaprabhu, just all those several devotees repeatedly recommended the name of Haridas Thakur, Haridas, but still Mahaprabhu was not at all in a mood to take him back in his association. So, and one more thing, ultimately Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very pleased with him. That was a very small mistake momentarily that he has done. He has not done anything. It's just a glance only, that took for a moment. So, but Mahaprabhu condemned this heavily just to give a very grave message to all the future renunciants. But Mahaprabhu at heart, he is always merciful to Chota Haridas and even those devotees like Kala Krishnadas. He went to Bhattacharya directly. Mahaprabhu rejected him. Why? Because he wanted to set the right example. But through his devotees, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed mercy on Kala Krishnadas. But still, he himself, to maintain the strict standards of a sannyasi, he himself never gave any concession to Kala Krishnadas or Chota Haridas. He thoroughly condemned, just to set the right example for all renunciants to follow. So Mahaprabhu told Chota Haridas not to come there. And Mahaprabhu was, whenever he travels, whenever he goes to Jagannath Puri temple, so Chota Haridas would just offer obeisances from a distance. He would just wait. When will Mahaprabhu become little merciful to me? After waiting for 1 year, Chota Haridas went to Prayaga, and Chota Haridas just went to Prayaga, and after that the news is that he must have committed suicide, right? So Mahaprabhu is an ocean of mercy, but his neglect made Chota Haridas commit even suicide, right? So Mahaprabhu is an ocean of mercy. Who can understand him? Mahaprabhu Kripa Sindhu Kepare Bhujite Priya Bhakti Danda Karena Dharma Bhujaiti. Priya Bhakta Danda Karena. He would even give danda, means punishment, even to his dearest devotee, Priya Bhakta, because Dharma Bhujaiti. Just to re-establish Dharma, he does it, right? So Chota Haridas commits suicide and attains shelter of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ultimately. So he goes to Prayaga, and Mahaprabhu gets to hear this news from Bengal devotees. Next year when they come to Jagannath Puri, Srivas Thakur says that, Junior Haridas has committed suicide in Triveni Sangam. And Mahaprabhu says that if someone is, Mahaprabhu simply says that anybody is sure to achieve the results of his karma. So karma phala he has to achieve. So if it's sensual intentions, if one looks at women, that's the only process of atonement. Mahaprabhu just says like this. So this is the strict standard that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has established for all the renunciants, not to interact closely with the opposite gender without any service, right? Without any important service. So now Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in this way, he exhibited his strict pastimes. Some are very magnanimous pastimes, some are very strict pastimes. Mahaprabhu is doing the needful to establish the right standard for renunciation. So Madhura Chaitanya lila Samudra Gambhir Lokya nahi bhuje bhuje bhaktadhir. So Mahaprabhu's pastimes are like nectar. They are very deep, like an ocean. So people in general cannot understand them, but sober devotees can understand. Dhira, Bhakta, they can understand. So Vishwasa Kariya Suna Caitanya Charitra Tarkana Kahirih Kariha Tarke Habe Viparita. So Vishwasa Kariya, you should have faith and confidence in Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime. Just because he becomes strict, that doesn't mean you don't hear Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes thinking that, oh, he's too much of strictness. Okay. So pure devotee should be simple and free from sinful activities. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching how a renunciant should be very simple and also strict, right? Strict in his personal character. Like that. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, in this way he performed this pastime with Chota Haridas. Now we will go to the next pastime, which is third chapter, Haridas Thakur's pastime. Okay. So Damodar Pandit, sometimes he would verbally chastise Lord Chaitanya. So in these pastimes, in these chapters where Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Kaviraj Goswami describes majorly one devotee's characteristics in one chapter, he also describes smaller incidents in those chapters. So the first portion of this chapter describes Mahaprabhu's interactions with Damodar Pandit. So Damodar Pandit is a great devotee of the Lord, but here Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu used to interact with one boy. So there is one little boy who is very beautiful and is very attached to Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. He is a Brahmana boy, and he would always come to Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, and he would just stay for a long time with him. And Mahaprabhu also shows so much of affection to this little boy, and Damodar Pandit is unable to tolerate this. So one day, and Damodar Pandit even says, "Boy, you should not come here," and he would just try to avoid this boy, but the boy would not listen only. He would often come to Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So Damodar Pandit, one day he went to Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu after the boy left and said, "Everyone says that you are a Gosai, you are a great teacher, but now we will understand what kind of teacher you are." Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu said that, "What nonsense are you speaking, Damodar? What happened to you? You are going crazy." And Damodar Pandit said, "You are, my dear Lord, you are independent, you are beyond all criticism. But the issue is that this little boy is the son of a widowed Brahmani. So she is genuine, that Brahmani is nice, she is a nice lady, and this boy is also very innocent, and you are pure. But people may unnecessarily pass some comments, right? When you are closely interacting with this son of a widowed Brahmani, then people might unnecessarily whisper about you. You are a young sannyasi, so beautiful, so attractive, and she is also a widowed Brahmani. She is also young, and the boy is very small. So people may unnecessarily pass comments and whisper and then spread some rumors or misunderstandings. So you should not be interacting with this boy." Okay. So Mahaprabhu appreciated this Damodar Pandit's concern, but there we need to see things from two perspectives. Here, Damodar Pandit, being a brahmachari, he is instructing Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. He is giving advice to Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu out of impudence, or too much of intimacy. So that's not actually correct in one sense. But from another perspective, Damodar Pandit is having so much of love and affection for this Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu that he doesn't want Mahaprabhu to be ill-reputed. Damodar Pandit is so much concerned about Mahaprabhu's fame and Mahaprabhu's reputation in the society there. That's why Lord Caitanya that's why he is discouraging. So Mahaprabhu has seen things from both perspectives. So Damodar Pandit is supposed to be just keeping quiet and not instructing a sannyasi. That's valid point. And Damodar Pandit also had very important concern behind this. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu said that, "Damodar Pandit, you can go to Nadia and stay with my mother, Sachi Mata. Right? I see no one but you can protect her. So you go and serve my mother." So Damodar Pandit went to render service to Sachi Mata. Okay. And also Mahaprabhu said that, "Please remind my mother of this confidential incident that happened. So I would go to my mother whenever she cooks some vegetables and milk preparations and cakes and sweet rice. I would personally go and then eat all of them. And one day I went on Magha Sankranti day. I went and ate all the food items that she has offered to me, but she doesn't know. She's thinking that he's having some dream. She's having some dream, etc., etc." So Mahaprabhu just narrates these things to Damodar Pandit and then tells him, encourages him to just go and stay with Sachi Mata and then render service to Damodar Pandit. Okay. So Damodar Pandit is very dear to Lord Chaitanya. So from one side, we need to understand he correcting Lord Chaitanya is not very much recommended. Every brahmachari should not correct a sannyasi, seeing Damodar Pandit. From another perspective, he has deep love. So once Damodar Pandit comes back, this is not there in Caitanya-caritamrita, this is another incident. Damodar Pandit comes back to Jagannath Puri from Bengal. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu asks him, how is my mother? How is her devotional service going on? Then Damodar Pandit becomes angry. You are asking about the devotional service of your mother? Whatever bhakti you have, you are getting from her. And you are asking about her devotional service. So he became very strict with Lord Chaitanya also. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Damodar Pandit, with these words, you have purchased me completely. Because Damodar Pandit is understanding the greatness of Sachi Mata. And he is just, with this little chastisement that he has given to Lord Chaitanya, he showed how much regard he has for Sachi Mata. And Mahaprabhu is so happy. Mahaprabhu did not get offended that Damodar Pandit chastised me. Mahaprabhu became so impressed that Damodar Pandit has such deep appreciation for Mother Sachi. So he became very happy. So that's a small incident with Damodar Pandit. So here Kaviraj Goswami says, Chaitanyera lila gambhira koti samudra haiti kilagiti kare ke na pare bhujiti. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes are deeper than billions of seas and oceans. Therefore, no one can understand what he does and why he does. So that's the incident of Damodar Pandit. Now another incident about Haridas Thakur. So now, one day, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Haridas Thakur, in this Kali Yuga, most people are bereft of Vedic culture. They kill cows and they don't have any Brahmanical culture. So how can these people be protected? So now Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he asked like this, Haridas Thakur had this nice encouraging reply. So Haridas Thakur said, my dear Lord, don't be in anxiety. A devotee exclaims in great love and ecstasy, Ha Rama, oh my dear Lord Ram. So the Yavanas are also accustomed to saying Ha Rama. Ha Rama means a meat eater condemns something saying that Ha Rama, abominable. So for devotees, Ha Rama means, oh Lord Ram. For these meat eaters, for this Yavanas, Ha Rama means something abominable. But still it's a Nama Bhasa. Just see their good fortune. They are taking the holy name of Ram. That's Nama Bhasa. So although they are chanting accidentally without faith, still they are getting some benefit of chanting the name of the Lord. And of course, this accidental chanting is not a replacement for faithful chanting. So Ajamil chanted in one sense accidentally. Yamadutas came to arrest Ajamil, and Ajamil just was calling out his sons, Narayana. So Ajamil became very fearful of Yamadutas, and then he chanted Narayana just to indicate his son. But he doesn't show any faith in the Supreme Lord. But still Ajamil was protected. So the point is, Ajamil chanted without faith. What will happen if you chant with faith? Ajamil chanted to indicate his son. What will happen if you indicate the Supreme Lord directly? Ajamil chanted at the time of death. What will happen if you chant throughout your lifetime? Ajamil chanted with a sinful background. After committing so many sinful activities, what will happen if you chant by following the regulative principles and living a pure lifestyle? So Ajamil's episode is not encouraging inattentive chanting and accidental chanting or indirect chanting. Ajamil episode is actually encouraging attentive chanting, right? But still, even such chanting is also beneficial. What to speak of direct chanting? So Mahaprabhu is concerned about this meat eaters, right? So Mahaprabhu says even accidentally they chant something and they'll get some benefit. So the two syllables Ra and Ma of the word Rama are unseparated and decorated with the loving word Ha. Ha Rama, oh Lord Ram. So that is that kind of chanting will definitely deliver it. Okay. So if an offense, let's say, chants the holy name of the Lord even imperfectly, one can be freed from all results of sinful life. Nama bhasa haite haya sarva papakshay. So by nama bhas, all one's sinful reactions are removed. So even the faintest race of the effulgence of Lord's holy name can eradicate all sinful reactions. Nama bhasa haite haya samsare rakshaya. So even nama bhas style of chanting also can completely destroy samsara. So in this way, Haridas Thakur encouraged and reassured Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur reassured Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, that chanting will deliver all the living entities, because Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, being the supreme father of all living entities, is concerned. How can my parts and parcels, my fragmental parts, my amshas, the souls, the living entities suffer and rot in this material existence? Mahaprabhu is concerned, like a loving father. So Haridas Thakur, like a child who is not a spoiled child, but a very well-behaved, disciplined child, must sometimes encourage the father that this well-behaved child will rectify the mentality of a spoiled child, right? So now Haridas Thakur speaks about the deliverance of moving and non-moving entities. So he says, my dear Lord, when you do loud Sankirtan, all the moving entities who have heard it have already been delivered. And even the non-moving entities like the trees, so they do pratidhvani. So pratidhvani means a resound. So when Mahaprabhu was just chanting the holy names of the Lord very loudly while traveling, the trees produce some resound. That resound is actually the kirtan of the trees. So even non-moving entities like trees also will get delivered when Mahaprabhu chants the holy names of the Lord, right? And also when Vasudeva Datta appealed to Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu for the deliverance of all living entities, Mahaprabhu accepted the request, right? So finally Haridas Thakur says, Jagata nistarayai tomara avatar bhakta bhava age tate kaila angikar uccha sankirtana tate karila prachar sthira chara jivera sabha khandila samsar. So uccha sankirtana, when somebody loudly chants the holy names of the Lord, sthira chara jivera, movable and immovable living entities are completely delivered. Then also Haridas Thakur says that, my dear Lord, in all your descents in various avatars, you deliver living entities. So you will send all these living entities to the spiritual sky when you descend, and new living entities will come. Just like prison cell in a nation, in a country, will never become vacant, because one set of prisoners or criminals are released from the jail, some other set will come and then join, right? Similarly, although the Lord descends into this material world and then he delivers all his dhamvasis back to the spiritual world, again more souls will come and then inhabit this world, material world. So now Lord Ramachandra delivered all the Ayodhyavasis by taking them with him when he left the world. Then he filled Ayodhya again with other living entities. So similarly, the Lord sets some plan for the deliverance of other people, right? So then finally he says, Ye kahe Caitanya Mahima Mora Gochara hai Si Januka Mora Punaha Ye Tanishchay Tomara ye lila maha amritera sindhu Mora mano gochara nahe tara eka bindu. So your leelas are amritera sindhu. They are like showers of nectar, but I cannot completely perceive them. Right? My mind cannot completely understand them. But I understand that you are very merciful. You can deliver living entities. Mahaprabhu was astonished. All my confidential leelas, this Haridas Thakur could easily understand. Ishvara Swabhava Aishwarya Chahe Achhadite Bhakta Thai Lukaite Nare Hayata Viditi. Okay. So it's the characteristic of the Supreme Lord to remain inconceivable. Although the Lord is inconceivable, his opulence and his pastimes become unconcealed to his devotees. Okay, devotees can easily understand the Lord's pastimes, although the Lord wants to hide them. So, Bhaktera guna kahite prabhura badaye ullas, bhakta guna shrestha tate Sri Haridas. So, Mahaprabhu glorified Haridas's transcendental qualities in front of many other devotees, and Mahaprabhu became very happy to glorify his devotees. Mahaprabhu glorifies his devotees as if he has 5 mouths. So, now these are some qualities of Haridas Thakur. Now, after describing this little conversation between Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu and Haridas Thakur, our Kaviraj Goswami describes our Haridas Thakur's previous activities. So now we have seen this conversation about the glories of holy name. Now, Haridas Thakur previously, before he ended up in Jagannath Puri, he was staying at Benapur. When Haridas Thakur was staying at Benapur, he is a great Vaishnava and many devotees love him. He has very good reputation. There is one person called Ramachandra Khan. He is very envious of Haridas Thakur. Right? When Haridas Thakur was staying at Benapur. So, out of his envy, he wanted to prove that Haridas Thakur was a very fallen person. Right? So, he engaged a prostitute to go and pollute Haridas Thakur. So, now Haridas Thakur could understand that Ramachandra Khan was very, very envious of him, of his reputation. So, he wanted to leave from there. But he stayed back for some more time just to deliver this prostitute. So, somehow Haridas Thakur could understand that Ramachandra Khan was sending a prostitute to pollute Haridas Thakur. And Haridas Thakur said, okay, fine, I'll stay for 3 more days and then transform her and then I will go. So Haridas Thakur stayed there and this prostitute came at the set time. And then she started requesting Haridas Thakur. So I am very much attached to you. I want to associate with you. So please fulfill my desires. Haridas Thakur said, I am chanting my rounds. So please stay for some time. After I complete my rounds, I will respond to your request. Then Haridas Thakur was chanting in the whole day. And then this prostitute was just waiting for Haridas. She offered obeisances to Tulasi. She offered obeisances to Haridas Thakur. She sat there. And then she waited. And the night ended. Morning came and then she left. Second day also the same thing happened. Third day also the same thing happened. But somehow, by Haridas Thakur's association, she also started chanting the holy names of the Lord unconsciously. Whole night he was just sitting there in front of Haridas Thakur, and Haridas Thakur is chanting. His presence is so influential, he's so purifying that one will definitely get inspired to chant the holy names of the Lord in his association. So she started chanting, and after 3 days of waiting, this prostitute said, "My dear Haridas Thakur, I'm very sorry. I came with a malicious intention. I was sent by Ramachandra Khan to pollute you and to prove to the whole world that you are not a genuine sadhu. So I'm very sorry for this. So please accept me as your disciple and I want to just serve you. I want to become a devotee." So then Haridas Thakur said, "I already knew this. I was about to go when Ramachandra Khan plotted like this. But still I stayed back just because you are coming so that I can show some mercy. You just distribute all the wealth that you have accumulated by doing this abominable profession, and you just sit here and chant the holy names of the Lord in front of Tulasi." He said, "Tulasi sevana kare charvana upavas Indriya damana haila premera prakash." So Tulasi Sevanakara means you should just worship Tulasi Devi and then chant the holy names, and Indriya damana haila. So one can easily control the senses and then one can develop love of the Lord also. So Ramachandra Khan, because of his envious attitude, he fell down. Haridas Thakur left Benapur, but Ramachandra Khan stayed there, and then he just he fell down from his position because this Ramachandra Khan also offended Nityananda Prabhu. So Ramachandra Khan's offense to Haridas Thakur led him to commit another offense to Nityananda Prabhu. You see, Daksha offended Lord Shiva in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, although he begged forgiveness later, he got a goat head and then he gave up that body, and again he took birth as Daksha, as the son of Prachetas. And in the 6th canto, we see that Daksha again offends Narada Muni. So, when we have such deep, malicious, offensive attitude towards a Vaishnava, it's not an accidental mistake or accidental offense, but it's a deep-rooted offense out of one's envy. So then the effects of that envy will haunt one even up to the next life also, and that will lead one to commit more and more offenses. So in this way, Antya Lila describes the effect of Vaishnava Aparadha. So Ramachandra Khan became more and more offensive, and once Nityananda Prabhu was touring the whole world, mainly to spread the process of bhakti and to defeat some atheistic people. So Nityananda Prabhu came to Ramachandra Khan's house, and then he sat down near Durga Mandap. So there's something called Durga Mandap in front of some people in those days. So that's like used for some gatherings and all. So Nityananda Prabhu came to Ramachandra Khan's house and sat down there in Durga Mandap. But instead of being happy that Nityananda Prabhu has come to his house, Ramachandra Khan had sent a message through his servant to Nityananda Prabhu. And the servant said, "My dear sir, Khan had sent me to accommodate you in some milkman's house. That cowshed is very spacious, but this Durga Mandap is very insufficient for you. You are coming with so many followers." So in this way, Ramachandra Khan very smartly offended even Nityananda Prabhu also. Nityananda Prabhu laughed loudly and said, "Yes, Ramachandra Khan is right. This place is unfit for me. This is fit for cow-killing meat eaters." So he then left. So Nityananda Prabhu became very angry, and then he left, and Ramachandra Khan, out of his arrogance and out of his pride, he got his servant and told his servant to dig up the dirt in the place where Nityananda Prabhu sat there. He wanted to purify Durga Mandap. He sprinkled some cow dung, cow urine and cow dung, mixed it with water there, and then he purified that place. Nityananda Prabhu sat there and it's already pure, and he wants to purify that place by cow dung. So it's such an offensive attitude that he had for Nityananda Prabhu. That meanwhile, and eventually there is one tax collector, government tax collector, Muslim finance minister. He became angry with this Ramachandra Khan. So that person came and he stayed in Durga Mandap and arrested Ramachandra Khan, his wife and his sons, and plundered his house and the village for 3 days. And he killed a cow and cooked the meat of the cow in that very place, and then he ate it. So this is the result of offense. So now, because of the offense of Ramachandra Khan, entire village also suffered to some degree, not as much as he suffered, but they also suffered. So now very important shloka here. Mahan tera apamana ye deshe grame hai ekajnera doshe sabha desha ujade. So by one person's mistake, entire village could be punished. See, Mahan tera apaman ye deshe grame hai ekajnera doshe sabha desha ujade. So because of one person's mistake, entire community or village could be punished. So he offended Nityananda, he offended Haridas Thakur, such exalted souls. So then Haridas Thakur left Benapol also, and he went to his next destination. So he went to the place of, I think it's Chandpur. It's Chandpur. He went to the place of Hiranya Majumdar and Govardhan Majumdar in Chandpur. And Haridas Thakur like this Hiranya Majumdar and Govardhan Majumdar, they used to very nicely conduct some assemblies, means gatherings, to discuss some philosophical subject matters. They also have great taste for Harikatha. So they used to, this Mazumdar's family, they used to invite some saints and Brahmanas, and they used to have some philosophical discussions. So Haridas Thakur came to Chandpur, and then he stayed in Balaram Acharya's house. And Balaram Acharya took Haridas Thakur to Govardhan Majumdar and his whole assembly. And in that assembly, there was some discussion about the glories of the holy name. And the devotees who knew the glories of Haridas Thakur, they glorified Haridas Thakur, saying that, oh, he chants several names of Lord Krishna every day. So he is so great devotee. So let us, because this great devotee who chants the holy names of the Lord is here, let us discuss the holy names of the Lord. Okay. Then Haridas Thakur said, one awakens ecstasy, ecstatic love for Lord Chaitanya, Lord Krishna's lotus feet by offenselessly chanting the holy names of the Lord. Just like the rising sun dissipates all darkness, offenseless chanting dissipates all sinful reactions. Okay. And in front of the results that holy name can give, even liberation becomes very insignificant. Right? So then there is one person called Gopala Chakravarti. This Gopala Chakravarti was a tax collector. He was working with Hiranya Majumdar and Govardhan Majumdar. So he is very handsome. He is a little learned also. So he confronted Haridas Thakur. He became angry and criticized him. Oh, scholars, just see the conclusion of this sentimentalist or emotional devotee. After many millions of births, one is complete in absolute knowledge. Such a person only can attain liberation. And he says simply by Navabhas one can attain liberation. What kind of conclusion that he is establishing? Then Haridas Thakur said, why are you so doubtful? Don't you understand the glory of Namabhas, glory of chanting the holy names of the Lord? Bhakti sukha age mukti ati tuchha hai, atayeva bhaktagana mukti nahilai. So mukti is tuchha. Mukti means liberation is insignificant in comparison to the happiness that bhakti can give us. So please don't disbelieve my statement. By chanting the holy names of the Lord, mukti becomes one insignificant byproduct. Don't highlight it so much. Okay. Then Gopal Chakravarti confronted. He said, if one is not liberated by Namabhas, then you may cut off your nose. I shall cut off your nose. Okay. Then Haridas Thakur accepted his challenge. Okay. Then Balaram Acharya chastised Gopal Chakravarti. What are you doing? You are a foolish person. You are a foolish logician. You are confronting with Haridas Thakur. He is such a great personality. So you have no qualification to confront with Haridas Thakur, who chants the holy names of the Lord thousands of times in a day. So Gopal Chakravarti was condemned by Govardhan Majumdar, Hiranya Majumdar, and all the assembled devotees there. And because of offending Haridas Thakur, Gopal Chakravarti fell down and he was attacked by leprosy, and his beautiful nose was melted. So that proved Haridas Thakur's point also. Although Haridas Thakur never took the offense of Gopal Chakravarti very seriously, still the Lord took it seriously. Bhakta Swabhava Agna Dosha Kshama Kare, Krishna Swabhava Bhakta Ninda Sahiti Na Pare. So Bhakta Swabhava, the nature of a devotee is not to take the offenses of common people very seriously. But Krishna cannot tolerate Bhakta Ninda. So he cannot tolerate. Then Haridas Thakur leaves that place also, Chandpur also, and he goes to Advaitacharya's place. All this happened before even the birth of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So he goes to Advaitacharya's house, and Advaitacharya honors this Haridas Thakur, and he stays in Shantipur, and Advaitacharya offers Shraddha Patra, and by discussing Krishna Katha with him, Advaitacharya passed his time. So Advaitacharya is very impressed with the devotion of Haridas Thakur, And because before Mahaprabhu's appearance, all the people were quite materialistic, and Advaita Acharya felt so happy to get the association of Haridas Thakur, a pure Vaishnava. And Advaita Acharya offered Shraddha Patra to Haridas Thakur and then said, "You are equivalent to millions of Brahmanas." And Haridas Thakur was a little hesitant. "Dear Advaita, you are a pure Brahmana. You are from an aristocratic community. And I am coming from Yamana background. Why are you closely associating with me?" No. Advaita Acharya becomes so happy to associate with Haridas Thakur, and he discusses Gita and Bhagavatam with him every day. So, in this way, they both associated with each other, and they prayed for the appearance of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Haridas Thakur and Advaita Acharya together prayed for the association of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, you see, Haridas Thakur is an incarnation of Lord Brahma, and Advaita Acharya is an incarnation of Shiva. Of course, combination of Shiva and Vishnu. Here, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, all three are there together, praying for Mahaprabhu's descent. Okay, so I'll show this sloka. So they are very eager to deliver the fallen souls. Jagata nistara lagi karena chintan, avaishnava jagat ke mane hai bemuchan. So Jagata nistara lagi karena chintan. So devotees are naturally very compassionate on all people, and they are very eager to deliver fallen souls. Avaishnava jagata ke mane hai bemuchan. So they always think how these Avaishnavas could be delivered. Okay. That's another incident that happened. And finally, Maya Devi personally comes to test Haridas Thakur. Once, Haridas Thakur was sitting on the banks of a ocean, and he was chanting in a small cave actually. So then Maya Devi came, Maya Devi personified came, and she sat in front of this Haridas Thakur just to distract him from his chanting and to attract him. But for 3 days, just like that prostitute only, for 3 days, she sat in front of Haridas Thakur, but Haridas Thakur was not at all distracted from his chanting. He was always focused in chanting the holy names of the Lord. So for 3 days, she approached Haridas Thakur executing various feminine postures that would bewilder even Brahma also. But that Brahma, but Haridas Thakur was not at all transformed, because Haridas Thakur was Brahma only. Okay, Brahma was not at all distracted. So at the end of the night of the 3rd day, she spoke, "My dear sir, for 3 days you have cheated me by giving false assurances that you will enjoy with me. But you did not fulfill my desire." Haridas Thakur said, "I'm sorry, what can I do? I have taken a vow to chant the holy names of the Lord, so please forgive me." Then the woman revealed her identity. "I am Maya, the Supreme Lord's illusory energy. I came here just to test you. I have previously captivated the mind of even Brahma, what to speak of others. So your mind alone I have failed to attract. So please initiate me. I want to become your initiated disciple. Okay, you are a Mahabhagavat devotee. Please initiate me into the chanting of Krishna's holy names." Now, there is now a flood of eternal nectar of prema due to the incarnation of Lord Caitanya. All the living entities are floating in that flood. Chaitanya vatare vahe premamrita vanya sabajiva prema bhase prithvi haila dhanya yei varnaya yei na bhase sei jiva char kotikalpe kabhu tara nahi kanistar. So, anyone who does not float in this inundation is most condemned, very unfortunate. Such a person cannot be delivered for millions of kalpas. Better take advantage of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy and then be delivered. So in this way, Maya Devi requests Haridas Thakur to give him Krishna name. And she says that I received Ramana from Lord Shiva before, but now due to your association, I am eager to chant Krishna Nam. Ramanam gives liberation, but Krishna Nam takes us to the other side of ocean of nescience and gives Krishna Prema. Mukti hetuna taraka haya Ramanam Krishna Nama paraka haya kare premadan. So Ramanam is Taraka and Krishna Nam is Paraka. That gives Premadan. Okay. Then Haridas Thakur is worshipped by Maya, and Haridas Thakur initiates Maya. He says, Kara Krishna Sankirtan, chant Hare Krishna, he says, and then she chants. So, being allured by Krishna Prem, Brahma, Shiva, Kumaras, Narada, Prahlad, and even Lakshmi took birth upon this earth in the guise of human beings due to Mahaprabhu's incarnation. Some devotee in our initial episodes asked, like I was saying, from different planetary systems, people come to this earthly planet to associate with Lord Caitanya, being allured by Krishna Brahma. Here is the reference. So Brahma, Shiva, Kumaras, Narada, Prahlad, at that time he was in Susala planet. He would also come. So they chant Krishna's name together. So now Maya Dasi Prema Mage Itheki Vismay Sadhu Krupa Nama Vina Prema na Janmay. So without Sadhu Krupa, Prema will not come. So Maya Dasi Prema Mage Itheki Vismay. Maya is requesting for Prema. So what's so astonishing about it? Right? Chaitanya Gosaira lila rayita swabhav tribhuvana nache gaya paye prema bhav. So this is the glory of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's leelas. All the three worlds dance in ecstasy because of Mahaprabhu's mercy. So Krishna Adi Arayata Sthavara Jangami Krishna Preme Matta Kare Krishna Sankirtani. So Krishna Sankirtana imbues everyone with the love of Krishna, and including all moving and non-moving entities, including Krishna himself. So that's the potency of Krishna Sankirtana. That's why Krishna came in the form of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay. So we'll conclude here. I completed 3 chapters of Antya Lila. Then 4th chapter Sanatana Goswami, 5th chapter Pradyumna Mishra, 6th chapter Radhanath Das Goswami. So out of this 4th and 6th are very long. So mostly I will take these 3 chapters. 7th Vallabh Bhatta is small. I will take at least 3-4 chapters in the next session. Thank you very much. Sri Caitanya-caritamrita ki Jai.